You put me next to 30 on the box, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead. Good evening. Calling the school committee to order. Thursday, April 16th, 6:30 PM. Welcome, everyone. First item of business is statement regarding recording, please.
Good evening. This meeting will be recorded and will be posted to YouTube and other social media platforms. By participating in this meeting, you understand that the recording could contain your video stream or your audio stream, including images of yourself or anyone in the room with you. If you choose to enable your video or audio device during the meeting, as well as anything or anyone else that may be in the background could be recorded. The recording could include any opinions you contribute and anything you say about yourself. On occasion, chat within the meeting could also be captured in the meeting recording. Therefore, anyone attending the recorded meeting may have aspects of their personal data recorded if they actively participate or not.
Thank you. Roll call for attendance, please.
I need 1 second, please.
Okay.
Closed it out at the end of the budget for whatever reason. Okay, Dr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Devine?
Here.
Mr. Deschamps?
Here.
Mr. Willanen?
Here.
Ms. Kelly?
Here.
Ms. Garvey?
Here.
Mrs. Chamberlain?
Here.
Ms. Muck?
Here.
Mr. Moncourt?
Here.
Mr. Wigler?
Here.
Mrs. Thompson?
Here.
Mr. Nutter?
Here.
Ms. LaRange?
Here.
Mr. Chairman?
Here.
Ms. Reeves?
Here.
And Ms. Metcalf will not be with us this evening.
Okay, thank you. First, before we go to the consent agenda, I'd like to welcome Mr. Devine. Thank you. Mr. Devine, welcome. I know Mr. Marsh, 9 years, and he made an adjustment, and welcome aboard.
Thank you very much.
And your participation in subcommittees and the committee, we look forward to your involvement.
As you are. Thank you.
First item, consent agenda. Aside from approval of the March 12th minutes, 2026, there'll be the warrant approval as well as the donations as listed. However, there is a correction on the third. The third item will be listed as, or will be put in as acceptance of $8,000, not $5,000, to Hardwick Elementary School. And this amount was donated to the Hardwick Elementary School PTO from the Barry Charitable Foundation. In turn, same language, is donating $5,000 to Hardwick Elementary School for Nature's Classroom and $3,000 to Hardwick Elementary School for field trips. So if there's no objection, reading it that way, is there a second on that?
Second.
Second, okay. So therefore, on the consent agenda, if there's no statement or anybody have a question? Okay.
Is it acceptable to just list warrant approval with no information on what warrants or, that's a financial matter?
Well, we discuss them when the business administrator does the, when we go through the director's report, then actually that's when all the warrants are read at that point.
So they're read there. Do you need them now?
We don't have to do it. I mean,
No. but
we normally
if we're
just kind of,
approving it, shouldn't we be understanding what we're approving in a consent?
Well, yes, I would agree with you on that.
I mean.
do you want us to read them off now?
Yes.
We can read them off
I don't
instead.
feel comfortable. I would like to
We're gonna read-
remove that from the consent agenda and
Okay.
vote on that separately as normal.
Do you want me just to read them off now?
No, you just made a motion. You'd like it.
I'd like to make
Which
that
we can.
motion,
You can
yeah.
take that out. You can take that out without
That's a
one.
financial matter and I don't feel comfortable with that.
And second it. So
I will
that's
say that
okay
we
then.
didn't ever vote on them separately. When we did the director's report, it would say warrant approval, but Cheryl would just read them. And we never had an actual separate vote. They were That's how they were included, and it's just a report of what warrants were paid. If you recall, before we did
I just
consent
don't
agenda.
see any information on.
No, it's on the director's report. That's where we have put them since we started doing director's reports.
Not a problem. There was a concern to pull it out of the consent at this moment. Is it okay to do? So therefore, on the consent agenda, the approval of the minutes for March 12th and the list of donations. Already, is there,
Can I say? It's actually 3,000.
you second it? Okay, now we have a second. And yeah, hold on, I promise. Any other further question from a school committee member? And now audience,
It's 3,600, not 3,000.
36?
Yeah,
So the total donations.
8,600.
Okay. That is a change because it was 8,000 here.
Yeah, I was told 8,000, so
Okay, now it's 86.
it's actually 86. We know from our PTO president.
Wait till the end of the
Thank
meeting,
you.
it might be higher.
That'd be nice if it.
Again, thank you for this. Any other comments?
86 for the total.
Okay, no, 8,600.
Yep.
Okay. So having a motion and a second approval on the consent agenda. We have a member on the remote, so roll call, please.
Who made the motion?
Lee.
And Mr. Deschamps, you.
Sure.
Okay. Dr. Allen,
Yes.
Mr. Devine,
Yes.
Mr. Deschamps.
Yes.
Mr. Willanen,
Yes.
Ms. Kelly,
Yes.
Ms. Garvey,
Yes.
Mrs. Chamberlain,
Yes.
Ms. Muck,
Yes.
Mr. Moncourt. Mr. Moncourt,
Yes, can you hear me? Yep.
I can now. Yep. Thank you. Mr. Wiggler,
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Nutter,
Yes.
Ms. LaRange,
Yes.
and Chairman Brophy.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. And we'll deal with the warrants upon the sub-director's reports. Next is the Student Advisory Council, Elementary Report. Superintendent.
I'm going to turn it over to Principal Saltizik and her HES students present to us tonight. Thank you for the big crowd. This is so exciting.
Grove Elementary School, we welcome you to our presentation about building student leadership.
Next one, Jess, thanks. Students asked me to introduce them. Last year we started a student council. It's kind of late in the year, so we've had a full year this year, but we have Bennett Kalenda, Jace Hutchin Bowles, Samantha Mace, Grace Stanley, Taya Hay, and Ryan Fleming. And I think it's worth noting that two of them had siblings on the student council last year.
Monthly assemblies. Each month we come together as a whole school. We begin each assembly as we do each day. Miss Air leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance and morning announcements. Leading the assembly, we have students who had birthdays or who earned Panther of the Week throughout the month to stand and be recognized. We then review the characteristic traits of the month, for example, kindness, patience, responsibility.
Students supporting students. Other fifth grade students are supporting some graders with reading skills.
Heavenly couldn't join us today. She's not part of the student council, but she's a fifth grader who spends some of her time throughout the week helping to support some younger students on their skills. And I even caught her mediating a conflict between some second grade friends the other day, and she did an amazing job.
We helped them deliver prizes and prepare the holiday shop. Advocacy. Part of being a student leader is advocating for others who may struggle to do so on their own.
The next two slides, I asked the student council members what student leadership means to them and what it means to be a student leader. And so we've summarized their statements.
To us, student leadership means being a role model and making good choices, especially for the younger students in the building. I remember looking up to older students when I was young.
Being a student leader means having and modeling the school expectations of being safe, respectful, responsible, and kind. Thank you for having us. Do you have any questions?
Any questions from school committee members to any of the students?
How do you get into the position of student council? What's that process?
We do a vote. Our classmates will decide after we type a paragraph or so and show what we think we could be able to do.
Great.
Anyone else? I have a couple of questions. As you are building your leadership skills, what skills stand out the most for you? What are you stronger in?
Wait, what was the question?
Okay.
Okay.
It's the answer, that's what's going on.
What strengths, leadership strengths, do you possess the most?
Our strengths in the student council are, we try to, well, we try to make our school a better place.
Beautiful.
Get rid of all the word,
It's okay. Nonsense? Negatives?
I'm positive.
That's great. Right. The unpositivity. Absolutely.
That's a great word.
Yes, yes. Anyone else wants to share what you like about the program?
I like that I get to, work with other students and I get to be a big part of the school and the committee.
Beautiful.
Be a role model for everyone that's like looking up to people, they can help them.
And as this is your beginning of some last year and now becoming a full year this year, are there other students that want to be part of this group? So each one of you, are you trying to find and recommend somebody to, or do you look for others to be helpful to? So, huh? Well, last year, I'm glad Hardwick was putting the student leadership together. This is the second year. So you do think there will be a third year next year?
Yes.
Beautiful. How many, do you have to get elected again next year?
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
Do they each represent a different grade?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Me and Grace are fourth grade. Bennett and Taya are fifth grade, and Jason and Samantha are fifth grade.
And they play basketball too.
Yep.
Do you notice any difference in the past couple years now with having some of the leadership and role models?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Is there anything that frustrates you about this?
Kids don't listen to us when we're trying to help out. And sometimes it makes all of us feel left out when we don't get to help out. And sometimes
So how would you approach that?
I just find something else to do. Keep myself. Entertained.
Do appreciate the effort for sure.
Absolutely.
It's not easy. It's not.
Anyone else? Seeing and hearing none, thank you. So again, next year, hopefully, we'll see some of you, and then we'll probably hear year 3 next year.
Might do something a little different next year, but we'll give an update for sure.
Great.
Thank you. You're welcome. All right, student representative, Ella.
Right. Well, Unified Track just started a couple weeks ago, so had a lot of fun with that. We had our first meet on Tuesday. It was away, and so we all did very well. Yeah. Broadsea, we had a successful spaghetti dinner. Again, I don't actually know how much we made, but I know we had a good turnout. I've been working on my political engagement project, which has been good because it's kind of involved a lot of stuff in terms of budgeting here. So I've definitely learned a lot, which has been really helpful.
Did you find Monday's session?
I found it informative. I found it, I don't know, interesting because I kind of thought Mr. Smola talked in circles when I asked him a question, but that's how it goes.
Who did?
Mr. Smola.
Talked in circles?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I just asked him about the chapter 70, the review process and how that works. And yeah.
Okay.
They probably don't have good answers.
No, it's not completely his fault.
No.
Yeah.
Let's see. You got the spring sports going. Any additional activities going on for seniors?
I'm not a senior, so.
No, I'm just curious if there's anything that you're aware of, no? And how's the cafeteria?
It's fine. I mean, the quality of the food is good. It's just that it's just the same food every week. That's all.
And then when the schedules came out for looking next year, how's it looking from a student perspective?
Well, we don't receive our school schedules until pretty close to when school starts. I mean, I've had a little bit.
Well, you're picking what you wanted to pick.
Oh yeah, it went okay. I'm having some problems because of I want to take AP Computer Science, but it's probably not going to run. So I'm trying to figure out what to put in place. But yeah.
Okay, and then with your other colleagues, with the other students, are they pretty eager getting what they're trying to sign up for? Are they seeing some ebb and flows in what they were picking?
I think the other students have definitely been satisfied. I'm kind of in an odd situation because I'm one of the few people that wanted to take this course. So yeah, sometimes there's just not people to make it run.
And Dr. Allen?
Yeah. Of course you want. Are there any online options for these courses where they're advanced or a few students or anything like that?
Yes, so they run this class on VHS, but the trouble is I would have to pay for that. And I think because I'm already thinking about paying for a calculus course, it's not feasible to pay for both of those courses.
How much is it?
Probably around 1,500.
Ella, I think I saw the numbers for AP Computer Sci. I don't want to speak, but I didn't think that was not going to run this year.
Really?
Maybe it doesn't match all your schedule, but I'll look into that for you tomorrow.
That'd be great. I talked to Miss Gaspar and Mr. Gilmartin pretty recently, and they said in the current edition of the schedules it wasn't running, but that it was a
close. Is it close?
I don't know.
I think it might be.
It didn't sound like it was 3 people, but
No, it definitely wasn't.
Okay.
So I'll check on that for you. But it also sometimes is what your schedule maps out to be if all the kids can get in it.
right.
We're very early in the scheduling process
Okay.
as far as them knowing what their schedules are going to be. But Principal Rigney's on Zoom there, but I think we have a goal of trying to get your schedules out to you before the end of the school year.
Really? That would be excellent. I think everybody would appreciate that.
We're going to try our best.
Anyone else? Anything for Ella? Good. Please keep us informed like you do when you keep dipsticking, and then if there's any concerns or challenges or celebrations for us to be aware of too. It's be nice.
Okay. I have a little bit of like, I don't know, personal news, but I'm going on an unofficial visit with UMass Swimming next week.
Yeah.
Great.
It's amazing.
Exciting.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
You work hard. You've been doing that 4 a.m.
No, I like my, nights, but
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Good. So I know we'll go. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go to the superintendent of schools for reports, and around 7 o'clock, Mr. Peacock will be, I think, be able to be with our audit. So when he comes, we'll make the adjustment to your presentation.
Yep.
Okay.
Sure. So in the superintendent's report, just a few things to highlight. So we've now completed our listening sessions around the regional agreement. In the drive, as I shared, if you were here at the budget meeting, I'm attempting with help. I just want to be clear about that, with help. Cheryl helped me on some of and Sheila on the article, but I'm attempting to run some funding articles in the Barry Gazette before we lead up to annual town meetings, just to see if we can provide some information that's helpful and informative, and maybe make our situation as transparent and sort of hopefully that it resonates with people, that they understand more what's happening. So that's in your Google Drive. We've had a very busy week, actually, with a lot of fun things happening. So Comfort and Success, they've presented before. That's the 6th grade program that one of our former students started. It's sort of around community building. And so other upperclassmen are continuing that. They had that the other day. They had a blast. Today, they had International Fun Day. This is 3 performers that come from, one of them is from Northampton, but his other musicians and a dancer come from Africa, and they perform, some of the music, and they share the culture of that region. And the kids, one of the teachers said to me, the presenter's so amazing because the kids actually lean in, and he does this very quiet kind of rhythm, and they're like, and it was 200 kids in the auditorium, just, having a great time. So that was super fun. There's a picture in there. And I'll jump around a little bit, but our NJROTC trip, they were heading out to Europe, and they were supposed to leave yesterday, but their flight, Lufthansa, went on strike. So they've had probably 48 hours of real stress and anxiety over the trip, but they were able to get out this morning at 5:15. They had to split they're all leaving from Logan, but they're meeting in Detroit before they head over to Berlin. They'll be on that flight together, but they had 2 separate flights to get them there. But we're really happy that they're able to get off, and they really will miss like 1 day of the trip. So they won't have to extend time or anything like that. And our 8th graders are on their way back from Washington, D.C.
Yeah, your Ross trip to Berlin. Are they going to connect up any with that Berlin school that sends the basketball players here?
No, it's a separate program. They're with a tour company, so that's not on their agenda that I'm aware of. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think so. And then our 8th graders are on their way back from DC. Everything I've heard, pictures I've seen, they look like they're having an amazing time. And I think the weather could not have been better this week. I think they were a little worried it was going to be too hot and the kids weren't going to be prepared for it. So there's that. And then just some of the other things in my report are, again, I mentioned this at the budget subcommittee and I want to mention it again. One of the things that we're really paying attention to is being really mindful about not running small class sizes like we have over the years. So one thing that we've had to think about, we're definitely making some programs and adjustments to our courses as we go along. But we have only about, on average, 2 diploma candidates in our IB program a year. So we've made the decision that we are going to finish out with these last students that are seniors this year to receive their IB diploma. But moving forward, we are not going to offer the full diploma program for our students. Those were some of the courses that ran on the small side. So I want you to hear about it first. I'm sure for Ella, this is news even as a student. We will be communicating that, and the guidance counselors have been meeting with students who are in IB, and we're just figuring out sort of what a transition will be for that. Dr. Allen?
Yes, Doctor.
Yeah, I assume that we will have AP courses.
Yes.
We'll pick up the slack. And how much are we saving by dropping the IB?
Well, I think it depends if we drop it fully or we just sort of think about not having diploma candidates and what sort of amount of time in transition feels appropriate to do so. But we pay about $20,000 a year for our membership, $20,000 a year for our membership and access to curriculum. Plus there's training and different things like that. So that's kind of what we're working on right now is like, what's our plan going to be over the course of the next year, 2 years, that kind of thing. So that's what we're working on. The teachers, I think, are processing sort of, this is a big change for us. But there is some excitement and energy around, the possibility of designing some new classes and also offering more AP courses for sure. So we will keep you updated as we go through that process. It was not a move that we made, honestly, until the student numbers came back. So for example, when our kids are selecting courses, they selected their courses as if the IB diploma was available, and we only have 3 students. We think we're going to end up with 2 diploma candidates. But we did not add in additional AP courses for selection this year because we were planning on running sort of the IB courses. So we're kind of working through that right now. I will keep you up to date as we make those decisions. Yeah.
Do we have something like 18 or 20 AP courses?
I'm not sure of the current number off the top of my head, but I don't believe it's that high because we have 2 English, we have 2 math, I believe, right? We probably have 2, maybe 3 science, AP computer science. Maybe Principal Rigdon knows it off the top of her head, but that's putting her on the spot a little bit. But I don't think it's...
I'm trying to count on my fingers.
Oh.
I'm sorry as I sit here. I don't have an exact number. I don't think it's that high, but we do have courses. It might be close to that with courses that we've offered in the past because we don't run them every year. Some of that depends on the need. That's certainly something we're looking to expand on.
Right. And we do have pre-AP Calc. We do, this year, AP Chem isn't running.
9 because AP Calc, AP Pre-Calc, AP Stats, AP US History, AP Lang, AP Lit, AP Bio.
We have AP Environmental.
We have AP Environmental?
It doesn't run every year. It's one of those that hasn't run every year. So that's what I'm counting. Like
and AP Chem.
AP Chem, yep.
AP
Chem
Computer Science. Yeah. So
Are we up to 10?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we're up to 10 or 11.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you'll the 2 students or 3, you'll go.
We are committed to getting them their diploma. They've come this far, and we really want to have a good communication plan around this so that we feel like we're supporting all of our kids and our families as we do it.
And so do we become a a suspension of it? Do we completely?
We will keep you updated.
Okay. I'm just curious to see where we're at on that. So, Greg?
So the way it works is you can be a diploma school or you can be a certificate school.
Yeah.
So we can still offer IB courses. Students can take IB courses. And what a lot of our students have done, what I understand a lot of our students have done over the years, and I'm assuming it's very similar to what's going on now, is a lot of students will choose to take, let's say, one international baccalaureate course, get the certificate at the end of the course,
Yep.
and use that for whatever purpose they want. My knowledge is that there haven't been a lot of students committed to the entire program because it impacts the rest of the schedule. That's just one of the reasons. But there have been, like, for example, and I don't know if this is still the case, every single one of our students takes international baccalaureate English courses.
Correct.
So that could still be offered with a certificate.
Under the
program.
certificate. I gotcha. Good.
I swear I wasn't going to say anything.
Well, you have the knowledge, so thank you. Yeah.
So we didn't pay any attention anyhow.
And if you remember back maybe December when we were building the course catalog, I think Assistant Principal Gilmartin and Principal Rigney mentioned some new courses that we're going to be running. So I want to share with you that they've been very well received, and we're really excited to hear, once the students finish them, what their experience is with them. But there were 2 different PLTW courses. There's a new theater course. So we're excited to see how they respond to that.
Some of them we wanted to.
I know, you were. Well, we should do a visit to the school and we could see that. And then the last thing on the superintendent report is just, our goal around our budgeting process. So tonight you'll see version 3. We had a legislative breakfast on Monday. Jess has put a letter in all of your packets to go to the leaders of our House and Senate, that if you sign it tonight, we will send it in a batch off to them. That was something that Representative Smola sort of suggested that we do. And we attended a debrief session with Mars today on the House Ways and Means budget. I just want to mention this. It looks like there's going to be about a $25 million regionalization grant to be spread across schools in Massachusetts, that you could potentially apply for that grant and be given funds for looking into shared services or regionalization. Shared services is something that we always sort of think about. If you remember, I think we asked your permission to share our PT this year with Granby
Yes.
Public Schools.
Yep.
So, we are going to look closely at if there are ways that we could potentially do something like that with other districts. And I think that's all I have overall.
Okay.
Mr. Peacock is online.
Mr.
Oh,
Peacock?
okay.
Okay, so, I'm gonna go to new business and review. We'll take a look at the audit FY 25 audit report. Frank Peacock is here, and I know that he was able to come to the full committee, which was important. And it was coming in April, so we tried to have Mr. Peacock come today to the full committee. And I'm going to turn it over to Allison and Mr. Peacock and the superintendent.
Craig, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
All right.
Good evening. Welcome.
Good evening.
Thank you for making the adjustment. I know you potentially had could have had an obligation, and I appreciate it, Mr. Peacock, for coming this evening.
Oh, that's quite all right. I think some of the delay was, sort of on us, so I owe it to the district. So no problem at all.
Thank you. It's all yours.
All mine. Okay. Sorry, you had mentioned Allison and I didn't know. Okay, thank you. So as noted, we're here to talk about the fiscal 25 audit. Some of you that have seen these presentations in the past, some auditing standards and such have changed the information that we're actually as auditors allowed to speak about, meaning that the financial statements really are management's report. As auditors, we facilitate assisting with what we call non-attest services. An audit where an opinion is given is an attest service, and we have to remain independent. We are allowed to also do what we call non-attest services, such as assisting with the compilation of the financial statements, preparation of the district's data collection form, which is a summary of the schedule of expenditures of federal awards that goes to the clearinghouse, and assisting with the because again, these financial statements have three different bases of accounting: budgetary, modified accrual, and full accrual. And as auditors, we will assist both the district and all of our other clients with preparing those journal entries to go from budgetary to full accrual. However, what we have to do as auditors is make sure that we're remaining independent, and we have to assess that. And because we're utilizing all information that is derived from the district, personnel, the general ledger, treasurer's records, that type of thing, and that management signs a management rep letter in the end, taking responsibility. Essentially, we are independent and able to prepare the financial statements, and this is just very consistent through the entire state, whether school districts, collaboratives, cities, towns. It's the same. We operate the same for any type of entity, but independence as an auditor is of number one importance. So what I'm going to do is give some of the required communications that we're required to start off with here. And as auditors, we are tasked with making sure, doing our due diligence to assure that the district's financial statements are not materially misstated and in compliance with generally accepted accounting policies, of which we have done, and they are in fact in conformance with. We did not note any changes in existing accounting policies throughout fiscal 25, but there was the adoption of GASB Statement 101 related to compensated absences, the accrual for the sick and vacation time that it used to be just for the sick and vacation time that a particular employee or position would be eligible to be paid out for at retirement. Now, under the new standard, we have to also look at, for instance, if I'm given 20 sick days, we'll call it, more in the schools have some sick time. So, and let's say on average, people utilize 60% of their sick days in a year. Now that's going to be a current expenditure in the upcoming fiscal year. However, under the new GASB, that now has to be part of that accrual. So across the board, again, for all of our clients, GASB 101 in most cases has required a restatement of prior year. They essentially, what that means is the new standard has to be implemented at the beginning of the year. So for fiscal 25, we had to implement it as if it was completed essentially June 30, 24, realistically July 1, 24, the beginning of the fiscal year. So what that does is it resulted in about a $2.6 million restatement, where the accrual went up due to the new standard and having to account for everybody's sick time, anybody that is eligible for vacation time, and working with the district on understanding the percentage estimate of used days and that type of thing. So that's clearly the biggest change in the fiscal 25 financial statements this year. Um, Accounting estimates are a big part of the financial statements. Some of the biggest estimates that we've always talked about relate to the net pension liability accrual, the net other post-employment benefit accrual, as well as on the full accrual statements, the district is required to account for their capital assets. And hence the estimated useful lives being used to depreciate those assets is also an estimate. And so those three are usually the largest and the estimates that uh, impact the financial statements the most. Um, we move
So
on.
a quick question on that,
Absolutely.
Mr. Peacock. So, okay, so under the new standard of, in essence, accounting for our liabilities, and that sick time and vacation now is being stretched out for the whole, and a percentage, I think you said, would be applied, and it has to be with the post have the other pieces, so it becomes part of the liability of the district insofar as the accounting of the dollar amount of what for our present and retirees. Am I correct?
That I think that's a pretty fair summary. Yes.
Okay.
If I may just add one item, it doesn't really change what the way the district operates and the way the district would pay out sick or vacation time, whether it's someone taking a vacation day tomorrow or it's
Yeah.
someone retiring next week and getting what they're allowed for a buyback. But what it does do is change the disclosures and or the accrual for financial statement purposes. Um, on that note, also within the financial statements, there are various disclosures in the footnotes that are very sensitive. And ironically enough, the two major ones are the net pension and net OPEB liabilities, of which once we go, if we were to look through the financials and the notes, you'd see that each of those have probably close to about 3 pages worth of disclosure in the footnotes. So those are clearly the most important and sensitive disclosures there. We discussed independence a little bit up front when I was just talking about the non-attest services, but just to sort of touch on it briefly here, again, we assist in compilation of the financials with utilizing info derived from management and such. We will assist with the preparation of the necessary journal entries to get that information into the financial statements. And when the district prepares their capital asset schedules and such, we will review them to assure that, for instance, if a new school building is generally a 40 to 50 year life, that the district isn't using 100 years or 10 years conversely. And so everything that we did look at and test, was right in line with standards throughout the state of Massachusetts, and all our clients within Massachusetts and or other states. Happy to say we didn't encounter difficulties in conducting the audit with management. And what that means is there was a lot of new things this year. The district had some changes with personnel changes. We had some last minute personnel changes from some people that moved out of state, as well as the GASB 101 was new this year. And through the couple of mergers that we've been through in the last couple of years, going from a 30-member firm to now 12,000 people and a public company, the rules and regulations that we now have to follow for what we call our peer review and such, which is an external review of a public accounting firm that's completed every 3 years, changes dramatically. So I'm sure I'll just mention Stacy, who has been around for a while and involved in a number of audits. I'm sure we had especially this year, last year, a lot more questions, pulled a lot more invoices, and we had to drill down to things a bit deeper and such. But I'm happy to say that we do not. I was going to get to this in a minute, but it kind of fits in. We don't have any permanent adjustments to the district's general ledger or treasury records and such. So that means that really your financial team is doing what they need to do, is handling the books in a proper manner. Things were not, we did not find any material misstatements. Maybe we had a couple of small changes that we discussed and moved some things around, but nothing that would materially misstate the financials for any of the users. So that's a very positive there. Um, we didn't again, the biggest discussion with management as far as a new policy this year definitely related to GASB 101, the sick and vacation time, and it's new to us. It was clearly new to the district and all of our clients, and we were able to work through that. Took a number of questions back and forth, different iterations, but that's very consistent and similar to what we've experienced with all our clients. Again, it's a bit of a learning curve for all of us this year. Um, Again, I mentioned that at the end of an audit, management is required to sign what we call a management representation letter that essentially states, you know, no audit information is being hidden. Anything that we've asked for, we've been provided. We're able to speak with, any of the team members of the district at all to ask any questions that we need. And so we were given and provided anything and everything that we needed and were asked for, and we appreciate that because as I mentioned up front, I know we are a little bit later this year, and that is mostly on us. I will have to say I'll take the egg for that one. What Without belaboring the point, after we left the field, we're generally waiting on Worcester Regional, which I would say buys us a little bit of time. But then I had my two main team members on this audit move out of state, like way out of across the country, and hence are not working with us any longer. And it threw a curveball into things because during audit time, we're sort of like a runway at Logan Airport. The audits are lined up like airplanes, and if one kind of moves out a little or gets out of whack, it sort of it sends a ripple effect right through, and we struggled a little bit this year as our learning curve has really planed off through these mergers, and I like to think that we're on track. But again, I didn't anticipate losing the main two people that I had assigned to wrap this audit up, and hence Stacy Allison, I think, got to know Emily, who could not be here tonight, very well because she jumped in to assist. And, they were extremely cordial and willing, although maybe not happy with us because we came back asking for more information in the end. But I sincerely appreciate their willingness to help and get us what we need to be able to dot our I's properly and meet what we need to meet in the new firm in order to get the reports out. So, yes, the district was, pretty much ready as normal. We had to work through a few items that were new this year, but I'll take the egg for being a bit late this year. I apologize for that, and I appreciate the district's patience. And I'm glad working with your finance team that we were able to meet right on the day, but we were able to meet the March 31 deadline so that there was no potential impact to any of the state aid to the district. And that was only done with help of the district's financial team as well. So it was definitely a joint effort to meet that deadline.
Well, thank you, Mr. Peacock, but also don't worry about that egg. You're making egg salad. We ourselves had adjustments too in personnel. So as you said that you had some, folks leave and trying to get some information, but you had Stacy and Allison and, Quabbin responding appropriately. All the things are in place. No, things out of alignment, no findings. And I hear you. In your world, you had a huge merger and everything else going on, and then all the rules that are being applied. And even though the planes weren't getting out of alignment a bit, truly appreciate making that March 31st deadline and being here to explain. We do have new members, and we value the information we get from the audit because we've made those adjustments along the way when we've had those potential findings or your security pieces to make sure that, potential things can happen. So aside from the mechanisms in place and the receptiveness of our folks continuously giving you the information, trust me, you made egg salad. Much, much appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you for that and for understanding. It has been, how do I say, I've been doing this for 33 years now. And this has been probably the toughest 2 years of my career. I have to admit it's opened a lot of doors for our team, for us individually, for our clients. But yes, there was quite a learning curve to get there. And now we that learning curve has essentially what I'm going to say planed off, and we're made a lot of progress. What it did was cause a little bit of backlog, and so we're scurrying to catch up. We're extremely close, and I do appreciate the sentiment that you just mentioned. Thank you for that. I would also say a couple last notes that I have to make here are also looking through the books and records of the district. We did not identify any significant unusual transactions that are outside the normal course of business that we would have to dig deeper in and look into to make sure we're above board and in line with Mass General Law and that type of thing. So everything was realistically business as usual, nothing out of the ordinary. Same, I would say, in relation to related party transactions. Again, we pull transactions from the revenue cycle, journal entries in the ledgers, the revenue cycles, expenditure cycle, procurement, that type of thing. And we're looking for one, is the district following both their own policies and procedures and proper approvals for the various types of transactions are there, but are we also following Mass General Law, GAAP, the GASB, that type of thing? And I'm happy to say that nothing came up at all that showed any unusual or I don't want to use the word illegal, but let's say unsubstantiated transactions at all. Everything that we asked for was properly substantiated, and we received proper documentation to everything that we requested in the end. Ooh. The financials also do include what we call required supplementary information, which is the general fund budget, as well as some schedules in the back related to the Worcester Regional Retirement System and the district's balances thereof, as well as the other post-employment benefits liability and certain attributes related to that. That is what we call required supplementary information. It is not technically audited. The audit opinion does not cover the required supplementary info. This is not a new change. This is historically been how required supplementary is looked at. But what we do as auditors is we apply the same procedures to that we use RSI as the acronym, to assure that the information being reported ties to the district's general ledger, supporting documentation, that type of thing, so that it is not sort of apples and oranges with what's being reported within the notes to the financial statements that are in fact covered by the audit opinion, and then the required supplementary that it's just additional information for the readers to maybe gain a better understanding of what's going on. But comfortable to say that all of the information between the notes, the financials, and the RSI all agree with each other and have came and were derived from the same sets of facts and figures and actuarial reports from either the OPEB actuary or Worcester Regional's actuary. That is our required communications. And if we just talk about the financials for a moment, what we're not kind of allowed to do anymore because they're deemed management's financials. Sometimes, as auditors, and during a presentation such as this, we might drill down into certain balances and explain that maybe revenues came in better because of XYZ. We're not really not required, but we're not allowed to do that type of analysis any longer because it's really supposed to come from management. We can support and answer questions, but we're now required to keep sort of this at a high level. So what I'll do is I'll sort of go through my couple notes on the financials, and then the schedule of expenditures of federal awards, and then by all means, if there's any questions, we can drill down and answer those questions accordingly. This will just take another couple of minutes. As far as the financial statements go, again, I mentioned there were no permanent adjustments to the district's books and records, which is what you would hope for. That tells you that they're being maintained with integrity and the transactions are being handled properly. All assets, liabilities, revenues, expenses, or expenditures, depending on which basis of accounting we're looking at, anything that we requested supporting documentation for, we received and properly supported the balance in question. The district received what we call an unmodified opinion, which is the best that you can get. That is what you would want. That is what we call a clean opinion. And I believe that we discussed this last year. Management letters these days now are only written either if there are significant internal control issues noted that we need to bring to management attention, or there are what we call material weaknesses or significant deficiencies, which are a whole different level than what we might call lack of a better word to use, we sometimes call them housekeeping issues. Just areas where you can strengthen or get a little better with something, but a material or a significant deficiency must be put in writing to those charged with governments, yourself as the school committee. And I'm happy to say that we did not have any of those. And really, throughout our history with the district there, you all have never had a material weakness or significant deficiency. So that kudos to your team for that one. Again, good cooperation with your whole team, even with us coming back in the end, looking for more and additional information when maybe we all thought we were done. We now have to go through a secondary process to have our work reviewed to make sure that it meets the firm and the new criteria for our peer review right from the get-go. So sometimes that will bring up some questions and cause us to ask for additional info. It's pretty standard across the board, but again, your team was extremely cooperative and helpful in getting us the necessary info. And again, resulted in a good, clean audit with a clean audit opinion. within the financials. And the only other report that we do issue now would be the schedule of expenditures of federal award programs. That is a report that summarizes by federal grant the dollars expended in that current fiscal year, this year being fiscal 25 that we're reporting on, federal dollars only. There are two opinions within that report, excuse me. One of them being on compliance with laws and regulations, and one being on the internal controls surrounding the handling of the federal grant dollars and following the federal guidelines of how the dollars are to be accounted for, spent, reported. There's a whole bunch of criteria depending on which program we're looking at. Both opinions, again, received an unmodified opinion. So I'm happy to say that through the conduct this year, we had to look at the child nutrition cluster and of about $2.3 million of federal expenditures for the district this year. So in the last few years, we've noted that historically, the district spends about $1.4 million or so in that ballpark of federal dollars. Since COVID came along and a lot of federal dollars was given out for various types of programs, not only Quabbin Regional School District, but all districts, cities, towns throughout at least the state of Massachusetts has been, showing exponentially much greater federal expenditure dollars on these reports for the last few years because of the COVID funds. Now, the last grant that's really open is the ESSER, the Education Stabilization Fund, and those funds had to be obligated by June of 24 and fully expended by December of 24 and fully expended by December of 26, of which the district has been expending those funds. And at this point, we don't see an issue with the district. We've had some clients that maybe didn't come up with projects or costs to use the money for, and ultimately had to give some of it back, which, you'd hate to have to do that. We don't see that occurring here with the district. So I'm happy to say, again, clean opinion, no findings in that report. And in summary, again, the audit went well. Management was extremely helpful, timely with our requests. We appreciate everybody's, lack of a better way to say it, patience and understanding with some of the complications that we've had over the last year and a half or so. Again, I think they're behind us now, but it was a big learning year for us, and as a team, we got there a little bit later, but we're there, and that's the 100-foot overview, if you will. Everything went well. I'm happy to answer any questions if anybody has any questions.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Peacock?
Great job.
Great job. There's not one question. Just a quick follow-up. Thank you again. I hear about the unmodified opinion, clean opinion, no findings. Appreciated the understanding. Some of us have heard the outline that you present over the years. And when you spoke about the federal compliance as well as the internal controls, over the years, I know that's part of the process of looking on the federal piece. I like what you said. I was tuning into what you said about relatively, we were doing 1.4 million. It went up a little bit, dealing with the ERISA and things like that. Where, according to what you see, the district's expenditures of the ERISA up by December of 26 or whatever month it was. We're online, so you don't see any. Again, you saw from an audit perspective what we said we were going to do with those funds, we did with those funds, and we're on that same schedule as we went along the past few years on those federal dollars, correct?
Yes, sir. Very fair statement.
Okay, I just wanted to again reiterate, thank you. It's not only, again, I'm glad there's no findings. I hear you that you have to write the letter a different way if there was those substantive or other issues that had to be clarified, tweaked, re-policed or whatever, but there's none of that. So again, thank you for that. Unqualified, we know we have the information here, and thank you for dealing with our adjustment, and you made the adjustment as well. So is there anything else that anybody else wants to say about the audit?
Hi, Chairman. I have a question. Can you hear me
Yes.
well? I just want to make sure you can hear me properly.
Yes,
I guess just again, this is my first time seeing those type of
exactly.
audit report, which was great, very well outlined, easy to read. I guess the question I think I have is on the capital asset aspect. How do we go about to actually perform those estimations? And I guess I'm thinking from a long-term aspect when it comes to depreciation, is there a potential exposure or exposure to the school district in general?
What I would say is approximately, let's see, we're in 25 now, GASB 34, about 8 to 10 years ago, GASB 34 was implemented, and that changed the financial statements to the format that they're in now with the three bases of accounting, and also brought in the requirement for school districts, cities, towns, all governmental entities that have to follow governmental accounting standards, and that's how their audit is done, has to now quantify and report their capital assets. And what many districts, cities, towns, what many entities did back when GASB 34 was being implemented was either internally did a complete inventory of assets, and there was certain decisions that were able to be made, such as what threshold are you would you consider if you bought 100 computers at $300 each, is that 300,000, or is that really $300 assets that we don't really have to quantify? So there was a bunch of decisions like that various entities make along the way, as well as there were recommended policies and useful lives of various, whether it's buildings, machinery and equipment, vehicles, that type of thing. And I would say that it's very consistent throughout the state of Massachusetts. We don't run into a lot of issues with clients trying to either, and let me just step back for one moment. Some of my colleagues that deal with public entities for profit, that are looking for a stock price and so on and so forth. There is far more ability or reasons to try to tweak the numbers a little bit, maybe utilize depreciation expense to either increase or decrease depending on what you want to do with the books that year. But in the school district, there's no profit motive. There's not really the same level as, let's just use Apple as an example. They're looking for their bottom line, they're looking for their stock price for their shareholders and such. The school district does not have that same level of scrutiny or requirements. And therefore, what I feel is within this governmental arena, again, that will include schools, cities, towns, all governmental entities that we may work with, there isn't a lot of reasons for someone to kind of, in an accounting term, cook the books, if you will, and change things around. So I would say that we look at all historical assets as well as all new adds and deletes every single year to assure that they're being brought on at the proper values, that they're in existence, that the useful lives make sense and are in conformity with GASB 34. And we have never come across something that we had to speak with management on at the Quabbin Regional School District to change and say that this is not in conformity with GASB 34 accounting.
Excellent, very good. I appreciate the comment. I think I was framing it from the sense of like, can we take advantage of it in terms of like when you're reporting from a company that is not a school district? That was my frame of the question. Yeah, excellent.
No,
That
that
makes
was a
sense.
great question.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that does. It happens in the public sector quite a bit, and the controls surrounding an audit on a public company are definitely a little bit different than on the school, or the risks that you have to acknowledge and determine what are appropriate auditing procedures are definitely different for a public company than a governmental entity without a stock price and sort of some of those motivations, if you will.
Excellent. Thank you.
Very welcome.
I don't think there's any other question or comment. Thank you for your time. Anything else, Allison?
No.
Okay, Superintendent?
Yeah, I just want to thank Craig for getting it done. We were right down to the wire, but we really appreciate it. And shout out to the business team as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Again, I'm sorry for the delay, but I appreciate everybody's understanding and patience, and you prompted me a few days beforehand, and we were able to all work together and make it happen. So I couldn't have done it myself. It was by all means a group effort. So thank everybody as well.
You got it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much all for your time. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, Craig. Have a good night.
You as well. Thank you all.
Is there, do we need to accept the outline?
Well, you told me to put it on the agenda.
I thought that would be a good idea that we accept it.
I think we have done that in the past,
So-
if I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So I have it here to,
go ahead.
I just have acceptance of the audit report.
Okay, so acceptance of the audit report, 2025, the FY 25 audit report done by CBiz. And is there a motion to accept?
Oh, sure.
Okay, is there a second? Second. Any further question?
So we've never done any sort of viewing into depreciation. I mean, to me, it wouldn't make sense. I mean, to even look at that as a public entity, I mean, it just doesn't make sense at all. But you'd be looking at minor dollars to play with, but then every year you're going to have to look at that capital expense, et cetera, to see either how you play with it or how you make sure that what played it before, we can't play with it now, even though something different might come around. So I mean, for us, I think it's just total. It's not something I think we should ever consider looking at.
Gotcha. And we don't do that at all, right, Allison? You don't do it. Do you do it?
Are we talking about the GASB?
No, more of depreciation of stuff.
Yeah, just going like every
Capital
year to say,
stuff.
well, let's depreciate this, let's depreciate
Chairs,
that, et cetera.
furniture.
Like a corporation would do
Over $5,000 large assets, yes. We do,
every year.
yes.
Okay. And then what happens when they depreciate out?
They get deleted out of the system.
Okay.
We're actually doing that right now, but actually we were just talking about that Cheryl was capital assetting items at $1. So we were assetting everything. Believe it or not, so.
So, okay,
Do
go
we,
ahead.
do you have a formal process to remove them from the inventory, or is?
I can't answer that, to be honest. I'm trying to figure out the process here at Quabbin.
Yeah.
I know the process in general, but I'm trying to figure out what our process is because we are literally in the thick of it this week alone. So we were just finalizing the budget. So I know we're in the cleanup right now, but I'm trying to get a handle on it. So I can't answer that right now.
I would just caution that I would take your time and look at that carefully. because it can be, especially with grant money and different things, there can be significant impacts in audit findings from a federal level and things. So I know the laws have changed over time, and that's probably why there are items on there that are valued at such a low amount, because at one time, everything had to be inventoried, and then the dollar values have changed over the years. So for a little history for that, that might be why some of that is the way it is. But I worked for the state and we did have an audit finding that we had to clean up. And it's easier to just learn what you need to do than have to ask for forgiveness later. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Everybody does things differently.
It
so I need
does,
to
and
understand.
it's honestly, it's a very big, time-consuming, tedious type of thing, so.
I know we had all of our assets in one building, so I'd physically put my eyes on them, and here I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, they're everywhere,
Yeah,
so.
I mean, but, as you work through that, you might wanna look at different policies and procedures for your annual audit.
Yeah.
Of all that kind of thing as well, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then your point,
No, so I mean, I guess so, I mean, I can understand doing that part, but do we use that to offset any? I mean, do we make some money out of that somehow every year?
No, not to my knowledge.
Yeah.
It just kind of dies there.
That was kind of my
It was
point.
like,
It's
yeah.
like,
I mean, that's kind of with the GASB and the absent, or the sick leave that we were just talking about, is that we formulated this whole Excel sheet and everybody's sick leave, almost as if every employee in the district were to walk out at one time,
right,
what would be the liability of the district? But that liability doesn't sit in our accounting system. There is no liability on the books, it sits in an Excel sheet. So, I guess I really don't understand that either. Why are we, applying a liability in the audit when
Yeah.
it's not actually being applied in real life? So.
and he was saying it was document 101 or whatever the heck they were calling it on. the
Yeah,
federal
But,
level.
Yeah.
that time has been awarded to staff, so we are obligated
Yeah.
to fund that to whatever the contractual, so I guess it does make sense in a way.
Good.
there's the
Right?
real world and there's the accounting.
Exactly.
Depending on which way you look.
Any other question? Hearing none, roll call for acceptance.
Dr. Allen,
Yes.
Mr. Devine,
Yes.
Mr. Deschamps.
Yes.
Mr. Lannon,
Yes.
Ms. Kelly,
Yes.
Ms. Garvey,
Yes.
Mrs. Chamberlain,
Yeah.
Ms. Muck,
Yes.
Mr. Moncourt,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggler,
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Nutter,
Yes.
Ms. LaRange,
Yes.
and Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. We'll go back to the superintendent's report outline, and I think your next was the director of teaching, learning, and support.
Yep. So Shelley is on from home tonight. Unmuting.
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes.
We can.
Okay, thanks. So just a couple of things. We recently completed the title grants monitoring review. That was a long
Yep.
process. Everything was submitted. They accepted everything and there were no findings, so that's really great news. Our early release day, we just had this past Wednesday, yesterday. So the middle high school focused on writing and some differentiation. Elementary was looking at spelling and math. And then moving forward, this is a really busy year when they start to release a lot of grants. So I am in the process of looking for some grants that are coming out now. I just applied for a civics grant and submitted that. I have 3 grants that are going to be due in May. So there's a PRISM 2 and 3 grant, and also one from the United Way for out of school time that I'm looking for. And I'll continue to look on the DESE website as well to see if there's anything that can support us in our district. And one thing that I didn't include on there, but I do want to mention kind of quickly because we just got some information today, is on that seal of biliteracy. We did have some of our students test for the seal of biliteracy. We just got back some of or their results today. We do need to look into their MCAS scores and things, so we have not shared that out yet. But what I can say is that many of our students did receive some pretty high intermediate to advanced scores on some of the tests. So that was really exciting to see. But I will report out on that once we're able to share those results with students and confirm everything with you. Also, I can report out on that next month.
Awesome.
Right.
Kevin, you want to share anything?
We met with the town of Hardwick and the town of Hubbardston to go over their possible solar panel projects to be put on the roof. Just basically did initial walkthroughs and gave some information to the engineer. We're just waiting next steps at this point. We've had planned fire drills that we've planned with surprise for principals and buildings so far at Middle High School, Ruggles Lane, Ocam, well, Ruggles Lane is tomorrow, Ocam and Hubbardston Center School. Preventative maintenance is still being performed on all equipment just for the upcoming season.
Okay, great. I think Andrew's on as well.
I am here.
Okay.
We finished the first round of MCAS testing for ELA throughout 3 to 10. Went off pretty much without a hitch. We have finished all of our E-rate biddings. They've all been accepted. We filed our forms. So now we're just waiting until the window opens in July to actually start making purchases. Next week, we're going to begin replacing most of the exterior cameras around the central office and the middle high school campus, which had been replaced at the manufacturer's cost for free to us due to the high failure rate. So all of our cameras should be up and functioning by the time the kids return back to school. And some good news, our Rocket League team just finished their first season. They ended up finishing in 3rd place. They lost in the semifinals this last weekend at Sutton High School. They ended up losing to the team that went on to win the championship, so I declare us in 2nd place. But the kids were absolutely upbeat even after the loss. They were really impressed with themselves, and I was impressed with them to have formed a team 3 days before the season started and to compete against teams that had been playing, some of them for 4 or 5 years together. They did really well. Their heads held up high. And there was a lot of interest from students who did not initially join the team to actually look into joining the team next year now that they've done so well and they've learned about the process. So a real big shout out to both the kids and to Cam Whitelaw for putting together a great season on short notice.
Dr. Allen.
Is this kids playing those little games on their little things that they dippity dap with?
No. They're not mobile games. These are all played on PCs. There actually is the Sutton High School actually has a dedicated esports gaming room with about 25 computers in it where the kids compete competitively with other schools. So they're not mobile games, but they are on computers.
We are going to ask the team and the coach to come before the end of the year just so that they can tell you a little bit about their experience.
I think a demo of how they play would be awesome.
They probably could.
Yeah.
Get a Twitch stream set up.
Well, just so we can see.
Well, it's funny you mentioned Twitch because the finals was actually broadcast on Twitch through Play VS internationally. The semifinals was supposed to be, but they had some technical difficulties, so that didn't get broadcast.
It's a whole new world. And the kids, what Andrew, I don't know if he mentioned or not, but I think he said they had some technological difficulties, but our kids sat for 4 hours before they could even play. And they were troopers about it. So I'd love for them to come just so you could hear their experience. And the coach is also very in tune with wanting to build this program. So he has a plan for reaching out now to get his fall athletes in place. And I think Cameron Whitelaw, I think if I'm not mistaken, Andrew, you can field more than one team in one category, right?
Correct. They offer up to 8 different games to play, and you can have 2 teams per game. This teams range in size from 8 kids down to 3.
So that was fun. That was last Saturday, actually. Andrew traveled down, which was awesome to see the kids play. Huge support from the tech team for our East athletes, that's for sure. Allison?
Okay, I'll start with the warrants. Our biweekly payroll, we've had 19, 20, and 21. Weekly payroll, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. And accounts payable, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, and 62. We put out our RFP for before and after school programming that opened on April 10th. We have on-site visits happening on the 22nd. At 10 o'clock. We'll be going to all 4 schools for all volunteers that want to come. And the bid closes on the 15th of May. And a little update on where we're at with oil, which we all know is still not well. We're working with FREC right now. And since it's still very high, FREC plans to go out to bid for 27 to see what the pricing is available, with the understanding that we can reject the bid if it's not favorable. There's currently approximately 700,000 gallons available to those who took part in FY 26's bid, as well as 2 add-ons, with Quabbin being one of them. We were not part of FY 26's bid. And the bid's going to be structured to allow for flexibility and pricing conditions. So right now, the best option for oil is a weighted average through the purchasing consortium, as opposed to us independently going out on our own, having more hands in the pot. The current FY 26 vendor for FREC that holds the excess 700,000 gallons has offered a blended price, which would allow those gallons to carry into FY 27, and we could potentially secure a more stable price, which we would be allowed to piggyback on, being one of the 2 add-ons, if they select that vendor through the bid process. If the group chooses to go with a different vendor for 27, we won't have access to that 700,000 gallons, but we'd still be able to participate in the pricing for FY 27, which I believe there's about 22 districts involved. So it's still a significant amount of people. So the pricing should be a lot less than what you're seeing online. But we don't know until it happens. So they're going out to take the chance, and we're just kind of going to ride the wave. So that's where we're at.
Okay. Deb?
Is our contract with Champions up? Is that?
So yes, we decided to put another RFP out because our last contract didn't have any sort of rate change over the years. And I think it's been 5 years at this point. So we put another one out and we have some interest in it and,
It seems like
process. I know.
It does not seem like 5 years. I'm like, I didn't
Has it
even
been
think it was
5?
3, honestly.
It's definitely been 3. I think it's 5.
4.
4 years. 4 years. Yeah,
All
there you
right.
go.
3,
Yeah.
4, 5.
Yeah. It's been working well for us.
Any other questions for Allison?
Given the report from the auditor, Walter and I will continue to sign the warrants.
So can I ask a question about that?
Yes, absolutely.
I looked back on some of our other agendas and we had a presentation of warrants. So could we put the warrant numbers in the consent agenda?
I think that would be better.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think,
it would just
warrant
be more
officers?
clear.
I get that.
It's easiest.
But that way, if we put in the
I think-
consent agenda, I'll just list them there as AP, and
Money
payroll.
stuff kind of makes me nervous when we're voting on it, and to just have a blanket like that in kind of a lumped consent kind of made me nervous.
I'll put it there.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
And again, over the years, it's changed when we had,
Yeah.
we had to have a committee and then they changed it and they said, okay, we can have a warrant
And
officer.
and the good thing, Deb, as far as that goes, is that basically this is after the fact.
I know,
Yeah.
but it still needs to be approved by school committee.
Yeah.
So
So that's a great idea.
I think
We'll
that
put it
would be great. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Okay, Jill?
Not a whole lot. What's new on here is we're finally fully hired in special ed, which is great. Our track and field for unified sports is on the thing. So we had the first was yesterday. I don't know how they did. We have another track meet. Our first home one is on the 29th. Narragansett will be coming to us. And we have another home game on the 5th of May. And then something that I forgot to put in here is that we do have our consultation meeting with Landmark scheduled for mid-May. When we are going to be talking about the middle school program. And I do actually have 2 school districts who are inquiring about being able to tuition a couple of students into the program once it starts up. So I think that's promising.
All right, and then, so just some updates from our HR manager, but I have to draw your attention to the photo on the last page in your director's board because Dr. Allen came out to play last Friday night when we had our staff versus Barry PD fundraiser. They raised, I think it was $2,200, SRO Sawyer told me yesterday. And it was a super fun night. And I'm happy to say that the staff prevailed and no one got hurt.
That's the most important.
That was the most important thing.
We did not need the AEDs.
What was that?
We didn't need the AEDs.
We didn't need the AEDs. You picked up on that. Yep, thankfully, yeah. We did get to meet the new puppy, the Barry PD. Barry has a new black lab. He came by the office yesterday and he is just perfect.
We're in love.
Yeah, I think the kids are going to be very happy having some time with Barry.
Good, thank you.
Yep.
The subcommittee reports, budget.
Budget-wise, we have 3 motions here tonight. The first pertains to this fiscal year. It's a transfer motion. I moved to transfer $251,290 from 3,300-960 special education transportation services to 3,300-960 regular education transportation for ESSA transportation and transportation for regular education students required to ride a van totaling $245,349.30 and to function code 1450 special education hardware and software totaling $5,940.67.
Second.
Okay, it's motion made and seconded. Any further questions? Roll call. Please.
Dr. Allen,
Yes.
Mr. Devine,
Yes.
Mr. Deschamps.
Yes.
Mr. Willannon,
Yes.
Ms. Kelly,
Yes.
Ms. Garvey,
Yes.
Mrs. Chamberlain,
Yeah.
Ms. Muck,
Yes.
Mr. Moncourt,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggler,
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Nutter,
Yes.
Ms. LaRange,
Yes.
and Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
On the upcoming budget, earlier tonight, the budget subcommittee met and voted to approve iteration number 3 to bring it to the full committee. This is for fiscal year 27, a budget figure of $42,545,128.53. This is a reduction of $225,786.47. And it's a resultant increase of 4.23% over the prior year's budget. Need a motion to approve this figure.
So moved. Second.
And Dr. Allen seconded. Okay.
Yeah, could you tell us what that means for each town?
Actually, I
think
did have
it's
some.
in your- It's in your packet.
It's in the packet, but the assessment figures, I believe, as I was told at the end of the meeting, was Barry would be 6.1% increase. Hardwick would be an 8.95% increase, Dr. Allen. Hubbardston would be 4.92% increase. Negative increase for New Braintree of negative 2.16%. And Ocam has a 6.69% increase. And I think the figures are in your packet. The actual dollar numbers.
Any other further questions? Hearing none, roll call.
Dr. Allen,
Yes.
Mr. Devine,
Yes.
Mr. Deschamps.
Yes.
Mr. Willannon,
Yes.
Ms. Kelly,
Yes.
Ms. Garvey,
Yes.
Mrs. Chamberlain,
Yes.
Ms. Muck,
Yes.
Mr. Moncourt,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggler,
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Nutter,
Yes.
Ms. LaRange,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Thank you.
The last motion pertains to our utilization of E&D for the coming year. Entertain a motion to utilize $760,000 from our certified excess and deficiency and $82,780 from the FY Regional Transportation Reimbursement Fund as a revenue source for the proposed FY 27 operating budget. This action is intended to directly reduce the assessments to our member towns for the upcoming school year.
So moved.
Moved, seconded, Lee. Further discussion? None?
Question, what's the balance in the E&D right now?
Was it 1.1?
1.1.
1.12. So it would go down to about 300,000. Give or take, a little more than.
Right, exactly.
500,000.
Pretty scary.
Scary times.
Yep.
Every year we kind of hold our breath and
So, any further questions? Roll call, please.
Dr. Allen,
Yes.
Mr. Devine,
Yes.
Mr. Deschamps,
Yes.
Mr. Willanen, Ms. Kelly,
Yes.
Ms. Garvey,
Yes.
Mrs. Chamberlain,
yes.
Ms. Muck,
Yes.
Mr. Moncor,
Yes.
Mr. Wiggler,
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Nutter,
Yes.
Ms. LaRange,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Thank you.
It was mentioned that this is our current budget, but if there's any changes in revenue, anything coming in from the state, we may have another meeting to discuss.
Okay.
I'd like to comment about how well everyone, superintendent, business office, everyone has done to really look at the budget with a fine tooth comb. The town's asked us to do this. And there's a number of positions that have been cut. Again, you know, they say, oh, there's declining enrollment. Where are they going? Well, we're seeing them in pretty big numbers over the years now, and that's not easy to do because these are people's lives we're affecting. These are residents of our towns most often. They're so dedicated staff, and it's so hard for us to get staff, and it's really some hard decisions that have been made. And I appreciate that, and I just wish that our towns were more involved and understood that a little better. So I hope when we're speaking to anyone that we can articulate that at least.
Dr. Allen?
Yeah, piggybacking on that, because that's a very good point. We have always put the kids first. We understand the town situation. We're very sympathetic. We live in these towns. We pay taxes in these towns. But our priority has always been the children in our schools. And we will skimp and scrape as much as we need to. But the committee has never caved into, you have to, and you. The committee has always held firm to that position. And I think that's very good, very admirable and commendable in this day and age.
Any other comment? So thank you. So right now, here we are, made an adjustment. And if there's anything else, you said administration and the subcommittee would be looking at it if there's some additional light that can happen here.
Yeah, hopefully there will be. Figure out revenue.
Exactly. Okay. Collective bargaining.
It's bargaining with the teachers. We're going to start opening bargaining with parents in the days, 3 weeks or so. I hope so. Our first meeting. So things are ongoing.
Before we go to unfinished, let's go to new business and request for approval. Class of 2026 senior trip to High Meadows Resort in North Granby, Connecticut on June 1st, 2026. I know this is just because it's out of state. I know they have a class trip. Any other comment on that I need to make?
I would defer to Principal Rigney about the trip.
You didn't think much of it.
That's okay. She might have stepped away for a second. I think our kids go here a number of years. I don't think they went last year. But it is a place that they go to, they enjoy. You went?
I've gone
Oh,
as a class
nice.
advisor.
Okay.
They have, it's all, your price includes all your food all day. They have swimming, they have horseback riding. I think that's an extra fee. They have volleyball games. They have
Coming back.
all kinds of events that go on.
Well, now we know what the seniors are up to.
There you go. There you go.
Is there a motion?
I motion.
Okay, second, okay. Any further questions? Seeing and hearing none. Roll call, because we have a person online.
Yep, I have to just find where my sheet is now.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. Dr. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Devine?
Yes.
Mr. Deschamps?
Yes.
Mr. Willanen?
Yes.
Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Garvey?
Yes.
Mrs. Chamberlain?
Yes.
Ms. Muck?
Yes.
Mr. Moncourt?
Yes.
Mr. Wiggler?
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Nutter?
Yes.
Ms. LaRange?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Unfinished business, regional agreement, feedback. Superintendent.
So as you know, we visited our 5 towns, and we talked about the regional agreement task force and some of the changes that were made within the regional agreement. I just want to bring this to the committee that in the town of Hubbardston, one of the things that I think they were disappointed in was that on our town-owned properties, we kept the amount of $5,000. So the districts would cover anything 5,000, I guess up to 5,000, right? And then the towns would step in for anything above the 5,000. They, I believe, did have a tough year in that their representatives, I think, dropped off from the committee.
They were not.
They weren't
committed
present.
at
Yeah.
all.
So, you know, it was a listening session. And so we said we would bring this back to the full committee to see if there was anything different that you wanted to do. So, you know, what I'm asking, and we did talk about this at great length during the task force, was we talked about maybe taking that 5,000 number and rising it to 7,500. And part of that was really around the idea that the cost of some of the smaller projects has probably gone up over the past few years. So I'm just bringing that forward. If it's something that you as a school committee felt like you wanted to do, we could potentially do it. And we would just have to make sure, again, that we went back to all the towns to inform them of that change. I don't think it would be a problem with the DESI people because it's just changing a number. But it is, you know, it is different than the task force, you know, decided.
Dr. Allen?
Yeah, I would like a recommendation from the task force. You know, if they said, this is what, we have talked about it. We have been to all of the towns. We think this is a thing to do. We say, we recommend you as a school committee do it, fine. If they say conversely, you know, we're fine with the 5,000, 4 or 5 towns are comfortable with that. We think we should hold, but they're the ones that can discuss it in detail and have been the listening people at the towns. I would like to request that we get a recommendation from the task force.
I think it's we try to get all these people together again in the same.
And I know Hubbardston
Building.
doesn't even have those employees. anymore
Could we send
now.
a survey?
How many of us?
Well, I
were
will
on the
tell
task
you,
force?
it was quite a few.
There was,
What,
there
20?
were
It was
5, probably like 18 members.
Yeah, but how many school committee members were on the task force?
5.
One from each
5.
town.
Why don't you?
And this
That's
this
fine
was
with
an
me.
issue that was discussed at great length over 2 meetings.
Yeah, the school committee members,
Why don't you? Yeah.
make a recommendation and I'm perfectly comfortable.
And the reason it was
Walter?
ultimately decided to leave it at the 5,000 was because
Crystal.
we felt that we should continue to leave the financial decisions over, over that amount in the town's hands. The towns are very financially strapped, and it was decided that it was not up to the district to make their financial decisions, so we were trying to give that ownership back to the towns to have, since it's their money that to be spending on this, to have the authority to make the decisions how they were gonna proceed with that.
Well, if that's the recommendation of the subcommittee, then I'm comfortable leaving it as it is.
I mean, we can absolutely try.
I mean, we could potentially put out an email to task force members explaining the situation. I think it would probably resonate with folks and maybe do like a 1-question survey. Would you want to change it or not? I mean, that's a possibility.
And if, yeah, they would have to be willing to come back to a meeting. Absolutely.
If we put a survey together, they might not have to come back to a meeting if we explain the whole situation to
We have
them.
vote on it, though. It
Yeah,
was
that's
all
probably true.
voted
Yeah, it would be voted
at
on.
that task force, and that task force was disbanded because the work was done.
Right.
Well, it was voted on.
And then it was brought to the full school committee and we voted on it, and then it went out to the towns. And
But if
it
it was-
should be appearing on all of the town annual meetings.
It will be,
Yes,
yeah.
So at this point, I guess we could still make a change, but it's kind of gonna be almost like on town floor. Oh, cross out that number and put in this. number.
I mean, so,
Yeah,
okay,
we don't want to get to that.
so the school committee has voted on that.
Yeah.
We got the recommendation, we voted on it. So if there's a proposal for a change from the committee, then maybe as superintendent said, we send an email out asking for an opinion so that the committee doesn't have to meet
Right.
in person.
Have a collective understanding.
Yeah, just give us, here's the situation. What's your thought, or how would you vote now? Would you still stick to the 5? Would you go to 7,500? And then we could take their advice, and
And then
if we
would-
want to revote, we
I was
revote on it.
gonna say, would we need to revote? Because at that point, Barry will have already held their meeting, right?
Well, I was hoping this would be.
I think we'd have to turn it around really quickly.
When
Yeah, no.
is Barry's
19th,
meeting?
May
19th, and then we have our May
Yeah.
meeting, so that would be, we could then vote on it at the May meeting. So that would be a problem. The question is, if you, like you said, if you ask that question, do you want to stay at 5? This was the feedback, and we can write it up a certain way, and then, either yes or no, and that really, they were polled, and you had a rationale to it. And then it comes back, and then it will come to the full committee.
When Hubbardston's gonna vote?
But you said there were 3 towns that. Okay,
That's my question is, Hubbardston was the town that objected.
Yeah.
That's 2 people.
Question,
No, there's only one left.
Who's gonna vote?
Who's the one
now?
that's left?
Heather Monroe, but
She was the alternate.
she was alternate.
She's not a select person anymore.
Oh,
She stepped down.
so there's no one. from
There's
Hubbardston.
no one from Hubbardston that's employed with the town.
No, my-
Who was supposed,
It was,
you know,
it was,
you know what happened?
Tricia.
Nate and
I
Patricia.
think Patricia Lowe originally started as the resident because we asked for a resident. It could be a
We
resident.
could probably call her back in. We could send it to her. Right? She's still a resident.
I didn't know she was the resident.
adamant?
Deb was with me at the meeting.
I think they couldn't wrap their head around it and they were confused. I think they were looking at it the other way, like the price of things have gone up. Why are you keeping it that? And we were trying to explain that it was really to their benefit to have more discretion over how they were going to proceed with repairing that cost. And I don't know that they quite understood that. And honestly, I like thinking about it, maybe we shouldn't have called them listening sessions because it was more of an like, here it is, and do you have questions?
I think
on
they
it
were
in
more
the
upset about that
process?
than,
So I
yeah.
think they thought, well, this is a listening session.
Mhm.
Here's our
Feedback.
complaints
Yep.
with it, and now you're not gonna go back and do anything with it.
Yeah.
So I think the whole thing was just a convoluted mess.
okay, go ahead.
My question is like, who did it come from? Was it like, and I don't mean names, but like, was it a select board?
We went to the
Fine,
select board meeting.
And there was
And it
a
was-
select board member?
Several select board members were questioning.
Was there any pushback from any of the other 4 towns?
No.
No, I think in Ocam we had discussion around it, right? But we talked about it.
New Braintree?
New,
I have a question after.
yeah, New Braintree, I was there the other night. They didn't, Joe was on the committee, I think, so they were pretty familiar with it. I really think the disconnect for Hubbardston was they didn't really have anyone sitting there that had been a part of it. So,
And honestly, even when they did come, they weren't engaged and it was disappointing.
Dave? Did you have a question? And Peg? Peg? Oh, Walter too, sorry, Walter.
When you get to.
Yep.
My thought is that the process is completed. The task force did its job, the school committee voted, and the process to my.
We work over a year.
I think you were just presenting the info.
Yeah.
Yeah, you present.
yeah, I mean, I feel like
The feedback.
this is the opportunity, right? So I'm bringing the feedback to you.
Exactly.
If you say you want to change something, then we can talk about that. And if you say it feels like,
We're happy
you
with
know,
what we have. Then we'll do that.
then we're okay.
Peg?
So I just need some clarity because I think it was Mike at the selectmen's meeting made a comment that you put that money in the budget. Like, do you put like $5,000 for New Braintree?
We always
in
have,
the budget?
we do keep some money in our budget for when repairs come up, 100%. So we always, there's never a year where we don't have some repairs that come up that we need to.
Is there ever years where it's not used up in each?
I'd have to ask Kevin on that. Anytime
We
it's not fully used up.
Designate $5,000 in each school.
No.
They kind of presented it, I thought the other night at the selectmen's meeting.
No, it's like a batch of money that we
Save
So basically, we budget like traditionally people would budget to do maintenance in schools, where you're gonna look at your history, you're gonna look at where you stand on certain things and know where things need to be done based on your condition of things. So to say that we actually do hold 5,000 for each school, absolutely not.
Okay.
So
Well,
there's times of the year that I'm spending.
I just wanted clarity on that because that was said the other night at our selectmen's meeting and I don't remember that from the past.
Yeah.
Walter?
So I guess, I'm wondering, if we made the change, we'd have to go to DESI. We don't know when that's gonna come back. And all the town meetings could be done by the time it comes back, then they would just have to do them all over again. So put it a whole year behind.
Would we have
At least
to
it
go to
has the
DESI?
potential to do that.
Yes, it has to all be.
Or else towns will have to have special town meetings.
Which is costing.
Make it a
really
big
expensive,
change
so-
to a dollar value, I would
I
assume.
can't, I can't get it behind changing it
Yeah.
myself.
You're right.
Dr. Allen?
Well. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems to me we've talked about it. We've heard from our members who are on it. I think that 4 of the 5 towns accepted it. The 5th one raised it as a question. We talked about it. We discussed it. Fine, let's keep it the way it is.
I also don't think it's to any town's detriment. I think it's more of an advantage to their towns to keep it lower, so I don't think it's causing any harm or putting any burden on any towns by leaving it to the lower amount either.
Oh, as Kevin pointed out, Ruggles Lane could have, if I'm right, if I've got this right, Kevin, Ruggles Lane could have 3 or 4 repairs for $3,000.
Right, so that's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah.
When I was talking with
Yeah,
Peg.
but so that.
I mean, there's certain years that I may not do something over $5,000 at one school, but I may do it 4 times at another school.
Yep.
I mean, for example, this year in Hubbardston, I'm well beyond, where we would normally be, and been several repairs, close to 5,000, a little bit over 5,000. So it's either gonna go in the budget for the repair, or it's gonna have to go on a town side. So one way or another, it's still going in.
Okay, so Colleen has brought the question to the committee. No, really, I mean, I want to make sure.
Yeah, you don't.
We're gonna go to towns for votes. We want to, make sure. So Colleen's brought the question to us. We've discussed it. We've discussed a number of situations, both pro and con. And so do we just want a consensus as to one way or the other? You want to do a full vote on just sticking with it? How do you want to handle it?
I think I liked about the consensus. And just like without a formal vote, we've already done a formal vote. We've already put it out to our towns. Yes, she came back, superintendent, you said. So from a consensus point of view, do we support where we voted over the year work of the committee that was there, involved the towns as well as the school committee members, and then came back and did this as a consensus? How do you feel as members, without going around and saying names? What do you think? Is there anybody who objects?
No, I
That's a
think
better way to ask.
forward. We have.
Is there anybody who
we voted,
objects?
Brought it to the towns.
I like that you're looking on that side. You know,
Well, if you're asking that question, should we just vote?
Well, technically, we already have voted.
You need a motion to have a vote.
Exactly.
So if there's no motion.
That's right. There's no motion.
Right. Then there's consensus.
That's right.
Well, I
That's
think
what I'm
it's a
saying.
case of new people asking new questions when they weren't involved in the beginning process.
It was,
Yeah.
it was
And that's
more of an
understandable when that happens.
information session, I would maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think we have updated, the superintendent has updated us regarding the regional agreement. And we know the committee worked hard, and it's going to the towns for update of our 2014, 2015 update of our regional agreement.
And the intent was to inform and
Yeah.
answer questions. It was not to come back with change at those meetings
So-
anyway. So.
It's the most fun thing we've done tonight.
All right, all right.
I have one more question. I'm
Yes.
sorry. I'm still thinking about the consent agenda. We talked about the warrants and how we weren't going to vote on them in the consent, but we haven't voted on them. So I feel like we need to do that before.
So why don't we just then vote the approval of the numbers that were stated? Do you need me to state the numbers or as stated?
We can say as
stated.
yeah.
As stated, okay. So move, Peg. Second?
Second, sure, second.
I'm looking over here. Second? Second, I got it.
Oh, okay. I thought it was.
All right, any further discussion? Roll call.
Dr. Allen? Mr. Devine?
Yes.
Mr. Deschamps?
Yeah.
Mr. Willannon? Ms. Kelly?
Yes.
Ms. Garvey?
Yes.
Mrs. Chamberlain?
Yeah.
Ms. Muck?
Yes.
Mr. Moncourt?
Yes, I'm here. Yes.
Mr. Wiggler?
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Nutter?
Yes.
Ms. LaRange?
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
See, I got us to vote on something.
Public comment, anything in the
We have no
You?
public.
Oh, no.
school committee comments? School committee comments?
No, when you're talking budget and all of that, I would like to go back over and talk about school lunch.
Oh, sure.
Some things were brought to me and I just want to make sure.
Yeah, we could ask Olivia to come to the next meeting.
Let's get through budget first.
Okay.
Okay.
Not a rush.
I was at UMass also yesterday. I had a bunch of meetings, I'm on the advisory committee to the team. And one of the points that was made that I thought was worthy of bringing back to us here was the seniors have an opportunity to identify somebody in the school that has been particularly influential, helpful, mentored, whatever. And they write it up. And there's some sort of an assembly or something like that. And it's presented. And I thought that's a very nice thing. And I think it's very much in tune with the kind of district that we are. And I'm sorry to see that we have lost our student representatives because I didn't know whether the student council might want to pick that up as an activity. But I thought that was worthy of bringing
A
to
good
us.
citizen.
Okay.
It's a nice idea, especially teacher appreciation coming up.
There you go.
Yeah.
Lee?
Yeah, so not as much fun. I'd like us to consider moving forward regarding policy review. I'd like us to look at a policy to address AI deep fakes involving explicit non-consensual images of a sexual nature. I've been reading a number of articles nationwide, but apparently in Massachusetts that is starting to occur. Most schools do not have anything, any sort of policy. This stuff is AI generated. It's sexual harassment. My understanding is there is a site that people can go on and for $5, take somebody's picture, upload it, and you have pictures of a sexual nature of a kid. I think we have to look at educating our students, like educating the teachers. There's probably some reporting requirements. It's considered, I believe it's considered a criminal offense. Part of this is, or part of our point is that, how far can a school district go to address this kind of issue? I mean, some people would say, listen, you don't have control of this. It's AI. It's out there. We can't control it. I don't know of anything legally that comes in now and says, okay, a school has to address it. But the flip side of that is, our schools are the village of our kids. And our kids live in this village essentially for 10 months out of the year, and not just in the classrooms, but in other activities they do. And I think we have to look and consider that if somebody within our village essentially attacks somebody else in the village, that we should have some consequences for somebody that that breaks our rules. And once again, this is a lot of stuff to consider, but I think it's something, to me, this is personally more onerous than if over the past where a boy or a girl sends a picture of themselves or shares a picture with somebody and somebody goes out there and puts it online. Because in that way, at the very least, and I'm not saying it's a good excuse, but there is some complicity in that for that individual. But in this situation, I mean, a kid could be just on their way to school and get to school and somebody can say to them, hey, we've seen your pictures online. And they know nothing about it. And to me, it's a horrible thing. It could be a horrible thing. And it's unfortunately that AI is bringing this out, but these are the things we're going to have to contend with. So I think that we need to really look at this and, see what we can write up.
Under the heading of this is propitious, April 30, the Policy Center at UMass, which I sponsor, is having a speaker series on AI in education. I've gotten seats for us on previous ones. I had Lou Salvador last year. I had Mia Ducos some years ago. I had a spot for Quabbin, and our district has turned it down. Would you like me to see if I can get you on that panel to raise that issue?
I would say yes, but I'm going to be in DC then.
Well, then the hell with you.
But yes, I think that would be a great idea to go to policy. But also this week, DESE came out with some guidelines to come out to districts in regards to that exact perspective. So your timing is right, it's there. And at the same time, we need not only the policy, the administration, the education piece, and then how this is all coming to be.
And I think
Absolutely.
MASC could be very helpful with this.
I'm actually on with them right now. I'm looking at that right now.
Yeah, and
MASC, they don't have
cautioned us
policy.
not to really make policy around AI yet, but I mean, times are changing and
Rapidly.
so I think taking advantage of all of these things to make sure that we're trying to do the right thing.
Well,
work.
This meeting is being held on AI.
I actually
And
have an
people-
AI for work tomorrow.
Well, people are,
Yeah.
you get reminded
After
it's
that.
5 to 6:30.
So send out information on that to us, okay? Alicia?
Yeah, my only comment on that was this would probably, like my gut feeling on this would fall under our cyberbullying. Because whether or not it's AI generated, it's not
That's what I was.
AI schoolwork. It would fall more into our
Yeah.
cyberbullying avenue in that
Title IX investigate, it opens up a whole
Right.
nother avenue on there.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter if they're on the
Exactly.
internet or AI or, right, it's still the internet. And there's so much you can do with this now, it's unbelievable.
Gotcha, Gail.
Yeah, I
Dave.
think Deb jogged my memory. I think from one of the conferences that we went to down on the Cape, they were saying that if you got into making policy, making rules about it, there's always going to be an exception. You end up you can't make enough rules specific enough to deal with every
And
situation.
it's changing.
It's
so
changing.
quickly.
It's changing too quickly. So that was the reasoning why they didn't want policy in effect.
Right.
If there was a
Specifically for
policy
AI.
specifically to AI.
But we need to get like
We do.
in the pool of this, right? In the
Well,
pool.
that's what they say. If you
Yeah.
don't keep up with AI, you will.
Sorry for
be
saying
left
pool. I
behind.
apologize.
Lee is right. I
The
agree
pool first.
that this needs to be addressed.
Gail?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to kind of mention, capitalize on what Miss Mock says, because currently our policies, based on my understanding, any such behavior would fall under our cyberbullying. Again, explicit image would actually fall under sexual harassment. But I'm curious to understand if there's any way maybe to actually invite the local Worcester attorney for such on exactly what are we doing as a state currently, and not just us as a school community, but of course to actually educate parents and students of on how to actually stay away from this kind of stuff, right? Because the concern would actually be, right now we're talking about coming from external source, but it could be one student against another student, just fooling around and then basically turning into something that would be completely violating our current policy. So it is a multiple prong approach. This thing is actually emerging. I think our school policies are currently still would protect us on how to actually react from a consequences perspective. But I think we actually need more information from local attorneys to kind of come in, give us some more information on how to actually proceed with such cases.
Absolutely, and I thank you for raising it. That is, it is there. It's happened. It's happening, and everybody's going to need to be looking at this.
Can I just mention something really quick in regards to the district attorney's office, because they do have a series of conferences that they will do. They have come out to the schools to talk to the kids, both at the elementary level, and they will do it at the middle high school level as well in regards to all of this and the just ramifications of that has on kind of children and the law. So that is something that is an option for our schools.
Good. Anything else? Any comments? We've cut no executive session. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved. Yeah. And.